I'm on the ground because our furniture's gone, and there's either a truck in the background to my left or a broom background to my right, and that's just what you get right now. And this might be the last video that's ever filmed here. By me, in this way. I just came from a hospital, and the body is like cold from that, but it's warm out, and so adjusting and just feeling, soaking in the waves of everything, the trees that you can't see but I can, the grass, the green, the soundscape. Normally I'm sitting on a chair, and right now I'm sitting on concrete, and it's cool. It's cool in contrast. My son's toys, the cleaning supplies, the chaos of what happens when packing and moving and consolidating a home collides with life and hospitals, and I think when all of these videos started, there's this sense of speaking to invisibility. Like some sort of an expression of what can't be seen, what can't be named, really. Words can kind of approach it, but that theme is alive. Not just because I'm coming out of treatment, where like, yeah, my health is more in the forefront of awareness in a certain, like, oh yeah, I go to a hospital, that's kind of a visible thing that's in contrast to the day-to-day living, but it's not just that brings this up. But just so wanting to speak on it. And let the speaking happen. It's interesting that the invisible aspect of this video is the soundscape that I can kind of see in a certain way that probably, or definitely you can't. That you, the viewer, on this camera side, And that's the invisible contribution of, here comes in a cricket. I spoke with a patient today. A very, like, powerful, in some ways famous leader who's dealing with something very invisible. It's invisible. It can't be more or less of invisible. It's unseen. That when he's talking, as when anyone's talking from an authentic, humble place of just, wow, he's speaking my truth, like, which is such a gift of sharing my life with people who are real. And this wasn't even in the context of awakening. Just how the heart breaks open to itself. When life kind of forces us to finally accept who we are. Because it's not up to me. It's not like I suddenly love myself. There's just an opening to feeling life, valuing its own gift of life. And I think when you have a diagnosis, when the eyes or the mind or the body have a limitation that's undeniable and compromising, there's a forced humility. Which is such a gift to be around. And just witnessing it's almost like the soft underbelly of shame. Like when shame just can't fight anymore, when the inadequacy, when the self-loathing, the disgust, the fear of who I am and who I should be and who I'm not finally just feels like the fullest extent of like permission to be. then this like sweet underbelly of humility, of like, I didn't make me. There's no me that's responsible. And yet there sure as hell is a me here. And sometimes this person needs help. Sometimes this person makes mistakes. And the more I fight really the expression of this person right now, the more I get away from the gifts of that humility, which are connection, which are or a vulnerable underbelly. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna be gone someday. And while I'm here, I can offer what I have, which no one else has, and what a value that is. And I'm going to ask for help, and I'm going to need help, and I'm going to relish in it. Maybe it's to help myself, or maybe it's for someone to translate this book for me, or cook me dinner, or drive me somewhere. Humility is one of those invisible things that, like, will never really be visible. Like, if we think it's visible and we're trying to make it visible, then we're inflating something. But it's undeniable when we're truly around it. The gifts of sincere, not like minimizing, because humility is also like an expression of valuing the self, of like having the humility to say, like, I can't do that, and I need help, or I need to admit that I made a mistake so that I can correct it and find the value of the next step forward, of learning from a mistake. And all of these invisible things that this strange journey of talking and pointing hasn't made any more visible. But the act of like expressing and speaking is valued here. Because it's honoring that, like, what is invisible isn't meaningless, isn't nothing. It is nothing, but it's also like truly everything. And it's also a relief. Like to really feel into our limitation, like the humble reality of being human, who's gonna die, who has blind spots, who has conditioning, who has fears, who has anger, who's imperfect, even when fully awake, who will suffer, who will hurt, who will share this world with itself a million billion times over. I don't know how many humans are on the planet. I don't know that number. The relief of not needing to be visible, not needing to be inflated, not needing to be a bigger, more concrete self, and also not needing to erase the self at the same time. To be able to share, just share here, right now with the birds. For what it's worth with this video, like there's some aliveness here, and that feels like part of this naturescape in this moment is just arising. And so what more can be said about invisibility? I don't know. It's already being said.